With the release of Multicam version 1.4.3 and its theoretical ability to connect as many Mevo cameras as you like, I thought maybe today we could test connecting 6 cameras on 3 different control devices. I have an iPad Pro 2020 version, I have an iPad Mini 2019 version, and I have a Samsung Galaxy Tab A7. We'll see how many, up to 6, Mevo Starts will be able to connect via Wi-Fi on both my controlled Sunday streaming network and my mobile setup with a MiFi hotspot. We'll start with our normal 3 camera setup from Sunday morning worship and add one more at a time. So to the blue plus button, to camera, and then one of these others. Now you can see all of my cameras still need the firmware update, but they'll connect no problem. So we are running Ethernet through one of my in-house cameras, streaming network Wi-Fi on the rest of them. My iPad is also connected to streaming network as well. So we'll connect this first of the next 3, hit continue and see how it pulls it in. All right, so there's the view. It's going to give me its audio, which I could turn on or off, and it begins to report that it's sending audio this way. We'll keep it turned off for now and go back to the next camera. Add another camera, connect. Of course, if your cameras haven't already connected to your network, you'll have to go through that process as well. So there is the next view that it's shooting, just so that you can see there's 5 cameras total now. It does give the next audio meter there, and then to the 6th one that I have available to me, connect it. It says I have 6 cameras connected. We will continue, and now you can see I have 6 cameras connected. Now I want to test this on a live stream through this Wi-Fi network, one of these cameras being Ethernet connected, remember. The iPad itself is connected to the Wi-Fi network as well, but remember on Multicam, your control device is doing so much of the number crunching. The reason they say it is dependent on the control device as to how many cameras you can actually connect, and on the network, of course, but some of it depends on the control device itself, is because its processor has to be strong enough to do some of this number crunching for these cameras. So let's see how it does. Let's make sure of our input settings first. So I want to make sure my input quality is at 1080. I'm not going to go 1080 high. I feel like that's tempting fate. We'll look at the video source latency. I always use high latency now. If the pitcher is about to throw over to first base and I am scoring something on another device and I miss that he's about to throw, I catch it out of my eye as he throws. By the time I hit the camera to switch to first base, the stream is actually seeing the full throw when you have a high latency. So it gives you a little bit of grace for when you're late switching cameras. So I have my input quality set like I want it. I have my latency settings that I want. Let's hit the go live button. We'll change that to 1080 as well. Our stream quality now is at 1080 along with our input settings. I'm going to stream to Facebook because it's simple. It is not the best. I don't actually prefer it anytime I'm doing something on purpose, but for this test it will be fine. Live stream test. We will go live. I don't know if you were aware, but there is a drop-down toggle here on the right-hand side just under your monitor window. If you'll click on that, it will give you what your stream quality is sending at right now. Your input quality is here, but this one in the middle is your stream quality. So right now, I'm sending 1080p at 6 megabits per second. My stream has been live for that many seconds. So if I can zoom in and not lose what I'm doing here, maybe you can see what I'm talking about. So I've pulled it up on the iPad Mini so maybe we can see it. So I can see that I am actually streaming there. But as you can see, this iPad handles the stream for 6 cameras, no problem. So now we'll run the same test on the iPad Mini 2019 version. Open up Mevo Multicam. If you have not yet updated, just go to the App Store, and you can run the update if you're not yet on 1.4.3. It found the 3 cameras that I usually stream on Sundays pretty quickly here. It's really good about that since 1.4.1. That was a great addition to finding the cameras that you usually have. We'll go ahead and hit the plus button and see what other cameras are available for us. So there are my other 3 cameras. We'll add them one at a time, just like we did. You do get this pop-up message the first time you try to add more than 3. Connect as many Mevo cameras as you need for optimal performance. A strong Wi-Fi network and a modern tablet or smartphone is recommended. Okay, got it? Or don't show this again. Let's use don't show this again. We're connected there, and now I can see I have 4 cameras. It does report the next camera up, giving me an audio meter there. I do need to check my output settings first. I didn't do that on this device. So let's go here and choose our camera input quality. I am on 1080, 4000 kilobits per second streaming. My video source latency is at high as well. Those are the 2 things that I'm most concerned about. So those 2 things are ready. Now I can press go live, go into Facebook to that same live stream test page at 1080. We'll go live. I'll check that stream by seeing what it's going out as. Let it negotiate the stream, and it tells me it is streaming at, once again, 6 megabits per second, 1080p. This time, whenever I monitor that on Facebook, I'll be monitoring it through a cellular signal on my iPad, so I won't be pulling anything from the network here in the church. So let me go into Facebook there, and then I'll get it up on the screen for us. All right, so I do have that streaming live on Facebook, and I have all of these cameras still working just fine. I can pull up sound, but eventually it will loop as it catches back up to me, and that will become rather irritating. So you can see it moving through these really fairly well. Let's go back to the one that actually can have some motion in it. I am still streaming at 5.3 megabits per second. The stream itself, okay, so yeah, I'm glitching a little bit on this device. Watching it and trying to give, I can see which one's live because it's got a red dot on the front of it. So I'll talk to it for a second, but I can see based on what I'm looking at there on the iPad Pro on Facebook that it is struggling as I move between cameras just a little bit. A little bit of buffering, and that may be the cellular connection there. It may not be because of the stream, but you can see that it jumps a little bit. And so if I were trying to stream something important, the audience would be missing some things here with the iPad Mini 2019 version and 6 Mevo starts. So this time we will have Multicam 143 on the Galaxy Tab A7, freshly updated. We'll open up Multicam. It's going to begin to show us that it is finding cameras. It has found 6 cameras and it's loading where they are. So we'll give it a chance to load the information. Give us the connect option this time since we're on the same network. So I'll start with camera 1, 2, and 3 because those are my normal 3. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. Make sure we are connected with those, and we are. Hit the plus camera and go ahead and connect to the others one at a time. Camera 4, once again, as many as you need, but you need a modern tablet and good strong Wi-Fi for it. Okay, don't show this message again. Camera 4, continue. Now I have 4 cameras with audio. Come on. Okay. Plus camera. We'll go ahead and do 5 and 6 together instead of doing them separate. Connect. That 6th camera's coming up, but it's not there yet. It's struggling on that 6th camera. Let's go ahead and check our input settings. I am on high latency. My input quality, I'm gonna go ahead and change to 1080 because it switches the cameras out when you do that. And see which ones it pulls up. So I have 4 of them, 5 of them, and that one is still struggling to connect. Oh, there it goes. So that is this camera that, all right, so I can see even it just shut down. 6 cameras may be too much for the old Samsung Galaxy Tab A7. All right, now that we have our T-Mobile Wi-Fi hotspot set up, we will go ahead and connect our cameras to it and run this same test through a simulated mobile scenario. In this scenario, we have all 6 of our cameras connected to our iPad Pro via a T-Mobile Inseego 5G Wi-Fi hotspot. It's a lot of connections for that little hotspot to negotiate. It's going to be a lot of traffic for it to handle, but this would be a 6-camera setup in a mobile configuration. I think maybe a better one might be to run Ethernet from my iPad to the hotspot itself and then set these cameras up in an access point mode configuration. I'll do a test on that for my next video and see how that pans out as well. But let's go ahead and get our camera 1, camera 2, and camera 3 set up as would be a normal Sunday event. We'll go back in and go ahead and add the other 3 cameras. We added them one at a time when we were on the Wi-Fi network. I'm just going to go ahead and add them all together to see how it handles negotiating the connection and bringing them up in view, and immediately they come up in view. You saw the Samsung Galaxy Tab A7, which is a much lower powered, and it functions for what it is, but 6 cameras was way too much for the Samsung Galaxy Tab A7. So now that we have all of them up, we can see that the software is handling the switching just fine. I'll put the one with myself in view there. So if there is any motion, you can kind of see what's going on as we go live to Facebook. So once again, I will double check my input quality. Yep, those don't change. I just want to make sure that I'm showing what it is that I want for each test. We'll go live. We'll go live to Facebook at 1080p. Stream test, go live, and then as that connects, we want to go ahead and let it show us by tapping here what our stream quality actually is. So we're again starting out at 1080p at 6 megabits per second. On the iPad, on the iPad mini, excuse me, which is this time still connected to the church Wi-Fi, we will pull up that stream on Facebook there. So you can see me in view. Before I start switching cameras, I'll just move a little bit, wave a little bit, so you can see that that is handling this part of the stream very well. So now that that's done, I will put a different view up. You can see that it switched in the background there on the iPad Pro. It takes a few seconds to actually get to the end result there on Facebook, but it's streaming and showing the change in these views just like it should. That iPad Pro 2020 is going to be plenty powerful a processor, whether on a Wi-Fi hotspot or a Wi-Fi network, to handle all 6 of these. Once again, the iPad itself is doing so much of the number crunching in the way Multicam is set up to operate, so this is going to be a good solution with the iPad Pro. And finally, with the iPad mini connected to our hotspot, we'll open up Multicam and run the connections again. Actually, it's going to look to see if it can connect to them on its own. Let's see what this little iPad mini does for us. I found all 6 of them fairly quickly, put them back in their spots. So does give us all our audio inputs, okay? So the software itself seems to be handling things okay. I'll put that one in view and we'll make a few motions so that you can see that it's running smoothly so far. So now if we go live, we'll again double check our input quality. I know they don't change. And our latency. Once again, go live to our live stream test. As that is negotiating, we'll make it show us here what we wind up with. All right, still very good streaming numbers. That's the one that I'm looking for right there. All right, so as that is in view, let me go ahead and take a moment to move a little bit, to wave a little bit, so you can see, hey, the iPad's doing a great job. It's producing a good quality stream. It's not glitching, it's not buffering, which again could be an issue with your connection. It's not always just the device, but I'm seeing good results out of both the iPad Mini 2019 as well as the iPad Pro 2020. I'm going to go ahead and call the iPad Mini 2019 a success on 6 cameras for a mobile setup. Small device, easy to carry, didn't weigh a whole lot, good battery life. Run it with a Wi-Fi hotspot on a good connection, 6 cameras. Looks to be fairly reliable. Of course, the iPad Pro 2020, it is the last version that was not an M1 processor. So it's not the newest processor, it's one of the older ones, and it does a great job handling 6 cameras on both a Wi-Fi network as well as a hotspot mobile setup.